When was the last time a Windows update actually made your day better? Not just didn't break anything, but genuinely made things smoother, faster, more enjoyable. If you are struggling to remember, you are not alone. And that is exactly the problem Microsoft is trying to fix, with a plan that's actually worth talking about. There is an internal initiative inside Microsoft called Windows K2. It wasn't announced in a big press conference, it leaked. First, what even is Windows K2? It's not a new version of Windows, it's not an update you're going to download next Tuesday. Think of it more like a culture shift inside Microsoft. A set of new internal guidelines that basically tells their teams stop shipping half-baked features nobody asked for and start actually making Windows work the way it should. And apparently, this is connected to a memo from about a month ago where Microsoft talked publicly about focusing on user feedback and fixing long-standing bugs. They even launched something they called a swarm, basically an all-hands effort to hunt down and crush bugs across Windows. K2 is the bigger picture behind that moment. The three core pillars of K2 are performance, reliability, and something called craft, which covers the UI and overall user experience. Now, these three words might sound like corporate buzzwords, and honestly, in any other context, they probably would be, but when you look at what they are actually planning to change, it starts to feel more like someone at Microsoft finally sat down and used their own product for a week and thought, okay, this is actually embarrassing. What OS are you using in this big shift of people moving to open source and Linux? Please write your OS in the comments below. Windows Update is getting a serious rethink, and if you have worked in IT support, especially here in Europe, where clients often have strict production environments, you know how painful Windows updates can be. The new plan includes always available options to restart or shut down without triggering an update, which is a good thing. No more being held hostage by that spinning circle right when you need to leave the office. You can also now pause updates for up to 35 days and then extend that pause as many times as you want, indefinitely if you really need to, especially in production environments. And during the fresh Windows install, you will finally be able to skip the update phase and get straight to the desktop. That one alone is going to save IT people a significant amount of time across the board. Now here's one for the power users. Microsoft has been quietly doing what is called controlled feature rollouts, where they announce a new feature but they only roll it out to a random percentage of users. So you see the announcement, get excited, and then realize you just don't have it yet, for no clear reason. That's changing. In the Windows Insider preview channels, they are scrapping that system. Everything will be enabled by default in the beta channel, and in the experimental channel, there is going to be a menu called Feature Flags where you can manually toggle on anything you want to test. Honestly, it should have been like this from the beginning. Here's the one thing that's getting people genuinely excited though. The start menu is being rebuilt from scratch, not patched, not tweaked, rebuilt. Using native Windows components this time, not the web-based framework they have been using, which made it feel sluggish and inconsistent. The result is expected to be about 60% faster, and apparently they are also removing ads from the start menu, which is a good thing of course, which should never have been there in the first place, but still progress. There's also a push to deep load to Windows 11, reducing memory usage at idle and improving File Explorer's speed and search functionality. If you ever clicked on the Windows search bar and waited 3 seconds for nothing to happen, you know why this matters. Please tell me, what is your bad experience with Windows that you do not want to see in Windows K2? Now here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. There's actually a fourth pillar to K2 beyond performance, reliability, and craft, and that is community. Microsoft apparently wants to rebuild a genuine community of enthusiasts around Windows, and I know that sounds a bit strange, a community around an operating system, but if you have been using Windows long enough, you might remember a time when new Windows releases actually felt like an event. People were genuinely excited, there was anticipation. Compare that to how people react to Windows 11 updates now. Mostly frustration, resistance, or just complete indifference. The question is, why did that shift happen? And I think it really comes down to two things. The forced migration from Windows 10 combined with restrictive hardware requirements pushed a lot of people into Windows 11 who didn't feel ready. And then on top of that, Microsoft doubled down on pushing Copilot and AI features into everything. Notepad, the taskbar, the settings menu, while core functionality remained broken or slow. That disconnection between what Microsoft was prioritizing and what users actually needed is what killed the goodwill. And that is also, by the way, part of why Linux adoption has been quietly climbing recently. The latest Steam hardware survey shows Linux sitting comfortably about 5%, up from just 3% only 4 months ago. That might not sound dramatic, but in platform terms, that is a fast-moving shift. Microsoft is aware of this, and K2 looks like their response. By the way, if you are an IT professional in Europe and you haven't explored Linux as a parallel skill, this trend is actually worth paying attention to for your career. Clients and companies are diversifying their environments. Knowing your way around both ecosystems puts you in a very stronger position. So if you are finding this helpful and you work in IT, you are building your career here in Germany or Europe, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I put out content specifically for people navigating this space, and there's a lot more coming. Now let's keep going. Before we wrap up the Windows story, let me give you my honest take. I think Microsoft is genuinely serious this time, and the fact that came from a leak rather than a polished press release actually gives it more credibility, not less, in my belief. But the proof will be in what ships, because Microsoft has made promises before and the follow-through has been inconsistent. What's different here is that they are feeling real competitive pressure, both from Linux on the desktop side, which I have covered in my other videos, how the EU are ditching Windows, you can find the link above, and from user sentiment that has turned genuinely negative. When your users are rooting against your updates, something has gone wrong at the fundamental level. Now at this part, let's go through 3 other tech stories from this week that are relevant for people in Europe and around the world. First, the EU just made USB-C mandatory for laptops. If you're based in Europe and you have been frustrated by incompatible chargers across different devices, this one is for you. As of 28th of April 2026, new laptops sold in the EU must offer USB-C charging up to 240 watts. That's the new news. Of course, USB-C was there previously as well, which is the highest the standard currently supports. Other charger types can still exist, but USB-C must be available at equivalent speeds. Practically, that means most manufacturers will just go USB-C only. Laptops also now have to be sold in versions without a bundled charger, and power inputs need to be clearly labeled so you can shop for compatible chargers independently. There's a short adjustment period as people learn what their devices actually need, but long-term, this is a straightforward win for consumers. Second, OnePlus and Realme are reportedly merging. According to a well-sourced report from Digital Chat Station, the two brands will combine their domestic and global operations and share product developments while keeping separate brand identities toward consumers. Both a partial shutdown and a full merger were apparently on the table, so this outcome is arguably the best case scenario for fans of either brand. Worth watching to see how their product lines evolve from here. And third, a couple of quick Google updates. Translate now has a pronunciation practice feature where it doesn't just read foreign language text aloud, it actually listens to you say it and tells you if you got it right. For anyone learning German while living here or any other languages, that is a genuinely useful tool to have built right into an app you already use on a daily basis. And picture-in-picture mode is coming to all YouTube viewers very soon, not just premium subscribers. Small update, but a welcome one. Alright, let's bring it home. The core story here isn't about just Windows getting faster or prettier. It's about a massive company being forced to reconnect with the actual people using their product, because ignoring user experience long enough always has consequences. For IT professionals in Europe, a more stable Windows means smoother day-to-day work, fewer support headaches, and better environments to build skills in. And if you're tracking where the industry is moving, the USB-C mandate, the Linux growth, the platform consolidations, this is a market in real transition. If you work in IT, you're building your career here in Germany or anywhere in Europe, stay close to these shifts. They affect the tools you use, the skills that become valuable, and the conversations you will be having with your clients and employers. If this kind of content helps you navigate that space, subscribe and drop a comment. I would genuinely like to know whether you think Microsoft will actually follow through on K2, or if you have heard the tune before, and if you want to go deeper on IT career moves in Germany specifically, I've got a video coming that you are not going to want to miss. I will see you in the next one.